Podcast Rock City.
What's up, everybody? Joe here from Podcast Rock City. I want to thank you guys for all the comments and cool letters that I got over the last show. And the topics were your favorite top 3 Kiss makeup albums and the 40th anniversary tour. You guys had some awesome ideas, and your opinions on, what the best 3 albums were are all over the place. There wasn't 2 alike, which was really surprising. This week I'm going to be talking about the LA Kiss, but before we do that, I want to mention that I want to do a giveaway. I have purchased 5 Kiss guitar straps. Now, they're not, the leather ones that some company put out. They're cheaper, but they're cool, and they're still in the package. They're probably, I don't know how many years old they are. I think they're from the Signature series, but they have the solo albums makeup on them, and I think it says Kiss. And anyway, they're really cool, and this is how you can get one. What you have to do is, first you have to go and follow us on Facebook, Podcast Rock City. Follow us. Then during the week, periodically after the show comes out, I'll probably wait one day, I'm going to post a question about Kiss, a trivia question about Kiss on the Facebook page, and I will leave it up for a day, and everybody that answers it correctly will be in the drawing, and I will pick one person out of them, and I will contact you and let you know that you win. I'm going to give 10 away. I was going to do 5, but I'm going to do 10. I'm going to give them away periodically over the next few weeks, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Okay, so I always wanted to have a guest on my show, and I've been doing them by myself, and I contacted a couple of friends, and I've contacted Jody Havnot, and I contacted Matt Porter, and Matt is on the line from the Kiss Room. Matt Porter.
What's happening, Joe? Hey, Podcast Rock City fans. And Jody Havnot, too. I'm a big Strange Ways fan, too. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, that's a good show. I enjoy listening to him when he has – I was grocery shopping one day with my headphones on, listening to one of his shows, and he was talking about getting in a fight with some guy because he was picking on him about being a Kiss fan. And he was just like, I had to kick his ass. And I was just I did promise myself that when I interview Jody and talk to Jody, I'm going to have about 6 beers before he gets on, because I always feel like they have been drinking before that show.
Or, smoking or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So
do whatever you like.
So before we get started, I wanted to, can you let everybody know that might not know? I'm sure they do, because you have a great show. Let them, your show is on once a month, right?
We do the Kiss Room. It's called The Kiss Room. It's on thekissroom.com. We do it once a month. It started out as a monthly special, and I've just kind of continued it that way. It's 2 hours every month, broadcasting live on Monco Radio via MoncoRadio.com. And, I like the fact that it's live. I go in there and we kind of fly by the seat of our pants, and we can connect with everybody via Facebook and call in and things like that. And it's a blast. I just really enjoy doing it. So obviously anybody, if you haven't heard of the show, you can find us on Facebook, all the Twitter, Instagram, blah, 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 The Kiss Room. And that's me.
And it's a lot of fun, and you don't just. You always have your friends on there and stuff, and you play music as well, which is really cool.
Well, it's lucky because I work at the college, the community college I work at. It's called Montgomery County Community College, and they have an internet station. So, we we pay all the ASCAP and BMI and all that, and, in order to broadcast. And so I'm lucky I get to play a little bit of tunes on my show.
Yeah, that's really unique. That's what one of the great things about your show is you get to hear the conversation, and then you get to listen to a little music, and you play some really cool stuff. Sometimes it's rare, and and it's just a lot of fun. I got you on here today because I wanted to talk. We just got a couple months to go before the inaugural season of LA Kiss, the arena football team, and I wanted to discuss how you feel about that. Plus, they have mentioned, or they have signed a deal, and according to, I believe it was Gene's Twitter, they're already filming a, quote, fingers in the air, quote, reality TV show, unscripted, quote, fingers in the air. When you first heard about this, how did you feel about that?
You know what? It's two really different topics. I mean, I think for the arena football, I think it's going to be great. And being up here in the Philadelphia area, I mean, obviously we had the Philadelphia Soul years ago with John Bon Jovi,
right?
Owner. And I mean, to use that kind of as a parallel, because of the fact that, I mean, he did a lot for arena football. It kind of really put arena football on the map. And I mean, my brother was really the one that he went to more of the games than anybody that I know. And he said, you know, the fun thing about it was like he says most of the people there, half the gals in the place were wearing Bon Jovi Soul jerseys. And then he would come to the games and he said people would go crazy and he'd walk around and shake hands and, you know, and he says people were just going nuts. So for Kiss, I think it's kind of the same thing. They have such a star power that they can bring to it that, you know, Gene described it as it's just another part of the Kiss culture. And I think I agree. I think to me, it's anything that can have a Kiss logo on it. Why not? You know, it gives us more football to watch during the year. I mean, obviously that's where it's going to really determine whether I think it's going to be successful or not once they start to play. You know, once they actually start to play, it's not so much about Kiss anymore. Is it going to be an entertaining game? And the arena football is different. You know, obviously than regular football, you get kind of I think a little bit more of a faster pace kind of a thing. And but I think bringing Kiss to it, it's a win-win. I think it's going to bring more people to watching arena football, and it gives us, you know, a couple more months of football, so that's not a bad thing either. So
yeah, and I'll tell you, I've been telling my friends that you can tell how that Kiss is totally involved because we have been getting more reports and more video about the hot dancers than we have about the actual team.
Right.
And of course, Paul Stanley's handling it. Every time he's in, every time they show a picture of him with those girls, I always think back to that Paul Stanley workout video thing. And I'm always like, oh, God, Paul Stanley, he's amazing. But let me ask you this. Did you think they could have done a better job with the name of the team?
Well, I think they're going with the brand again. I mean, they're calling it Kiss specifically so that people know it's Kiss. You know, I mean, I guess they could have called it the LA Love Guns, and then there's people who would probably be offended by that. Or, you know, they want it known that it is Kiss's team.
Right.
And I think that really I mean, look, I said this, I think we were talking about it earlier, but I watched bull riding last year because it was Kiss bulls. You know, when did you really watch bull riding? You know what I mean?
Right.
And but sure enough, and here comes this bull called the Destroyer Bull or whatever, and you go, well, it's goofy. But I mean, I remember the day, I can remember exactly where I was sitting that day watching it, you know, and I had nothing else to do but watch TV. And I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, well, it's interesting, and look, it has something to do with Kiss, so it's kind of a win-win-win. And I think the same with this. It's like, you know, it's just another thing that Kiss fans will watch. We all have something to talk about, you know, and it's air conditioning inside, so, you know, you know, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I looked up a couple of things. I looked up their schedule, and they play San Antonio and Orlando, which is closer to me but still a little too far to drive. They're on television a few times. It looks like they're on TV about 4 different times on CBS. Let's see, they're on CBS against Portland, Cleveland, Iowa.
There's a game in May that's out in Pittsburgh, which that's as close as they're getting to here. I mean, kind of on the other side of the state for me.
Right. The power.
I mean, it would be great if they were to come to, you know, Philadelphia area. I would definitely go. But you know, they don't really have anything closer than that. I mean, you know, being, I guess, a California team, they're pretty much all, it's Arizona and San Jose and, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Pittsburgh is as close as they're going to get to here.
And the season ticket benefits, if you can get season tickets for $100, and you get, I was reading up, it says you get a free full-scale Kiss concert for season ticket holders at the Honda Center, guaranteed best pricing, whatever that means, first right of refusal for your seat location to home playoff games, guaranteed same seat location for all LA Kiss home games. Anyway, there's all kinds of stuff, and also if they make the playoffs, the first game of playoffs is included in your price. And,
wow.
Yeah, so I mean, $100. Now, there's not a ton of seats starting at that. The two sections, they're like nosebleed or whatever. But you figure a Kiss ticket is, $60.
Right.
So if you're going to see a full-on Kiss concert, added into the show, plus you get football, it's like, why not do that? And
it's just one more excuse to have something to do with Kiss, so it can't be bad.
Right. And the ticket prices are really all over the place, to be honest with you. But and I believe I saw them anywhere between $99 and like $2,000.
Wow.
But still, I mean, $99, the average person can afford that. Now, my only concern here, and I don't know how you feel about this, is, I'm only worried about this being something that Kiss does for a year or two and then stops, because they get bored with it or something like that,
So I liken it to the WCW. I mean, obviously we're big wrestling fans, and it's when they brought in the Demon. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, look, it's the Demon and Kiss and wrestling, which we all love, so you'd think the combination would be great. And here they are playing God of Thunder, and you're thinking this is the greatest thing, and then but they never let the Demon win. So it's like, in a way, that the LA Kiss is needing to win, I think, to keep people's interest. And then, in the same way with the WCW, then they're like, oh, well, that was like the lowest rated segment ever. You go, no, but that was the greatest segment ever. So right. I think it's really going to depend on, how, once they start to play, it takes away all the Kiss extra stuff. Now, if the team isn't entertaining, it's not going to be so much fun. But I think Kiss will get a lot of people to it, just because of the interesting Kiss.
Right. And when I first heard this, I was almost like, Paul Stanley is a football fan? You know what I mean? I just don't think of him that way. I don't think of him as like the kind of guy that, now I've seen the pictures of, him and his son out shooting and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, Paul Stanley's a man. So I guess, yeah, he's into football.
Hey, look, he's making pizza. He says rock and brews.
Right.
It's pretty much he's hitting everything that we like. If we can drink and have some pizza, watch some football, shoot some guns, listen to some kids, what else do you want?
Sure, absolutely. It makes, all the sense in the world. I'm wondering if they're gonna at the arena, if they're gonna have like a rock and brews in the arena.
Why not? I mean, obviously, it can combine all the brands. I mean, it's like even that, like that as another example. I mean, people must come in with these ideas like, gee, Paul, I have a great idea. Like, what if we had Kiss Pizza? They have rock and brews. But what if we had Kiss football? And wouldn't that be great? Oh, yeah, let's put the money in that.
Sure. And I'm wondering if they're going to be able to handle, like a regular owner handles the criticisms if they're not winning. Like Jerry Jones catches so much crap, for being, he gets involved, doesn't he?
Well, I guess it depends even how much, like if there's going to be somebody who is, maybe more sports knowledgeable, who's going to really guide things like that. Like, do you think Gene and Paul are sitting there going, we need a tight end? I just can't see that happening.
Right.
So and I think people, in a way, I think those of us coming into it really as Kiss fans, like, look, I'll be honest, I don't really care if they win or not. It doesn't really matter to me. And I am almost breaking one of my great rules in the fact that I feel like you really should root for whoever your hometown team. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. Everybody loves whoever's in the playoff minute. That's kind of, I don't think that's cool. But I will cheer for the team from L.A. because it's KISS. So it's, in a way, it breaks the rule right there. But even that, are people going to sit there and go, well, gee, Gene Simmons didn't get a good wide receiver for the team? I don't think people really expect that Gene and Paul are making those decisions.
Now, you're right. I know that they did announce their general manager, and they were, they had a press conference and stuff like that. And so I'm just wondering, how tough would it be to work for Gene Simmons? We always hear those horror stories. Imagine you're running a football team, and then you're like, I would have to look at Gene Simmons and go, we lost a game. You're pissed about that. What do you know about this?
I think you summed it up. I think Gene and Paul are going to be more interested in casting the dancers.
The dancers, right.
Than who's playing the game. So, you never.
Halftime entertainment, the girls wearing thongs, and football. It really, if you think about it, it's rock and roll, violence, and chicks. Because an arena football game is violent.
And fast-paced, and it's like a lot of that indoor stuff, it's constantly a light show or videos or, it's way more fast-paced, I think, even than kind of, what you think of as typical NFL. So
in the end here, you think it's going to be a success no matter what because KISS is involved?
I think we'll watch it because KISS is involved. If there's some good football, it'll be a bonus. Like what we were talking about earlier, the reality show. The reality show the same way. I'd like to kind of see, in a way, I know it sounds crazy because we've all seen Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, is that we're not expecting a lot of reality. I'd actually like to see what goes into creating a team or really what are behind the scenes, as long as they stay away from the kind of things that came into Gene Simmons. Like if we get, the team's uniforms aren't here, and now quick, Gene and Paul, you have to drive, real fast across town, and now the bus is broken down, so you have to stumble ride.
From Carrot Top.
Stupid. Right, exactly. If Carrot Top, Gene, the game ball is suddenly glued to your hand, and we can't start the game until, it's like it'll be something. I'd actually like, obviously some of the best episodes are going to be them auditioning cheerleaders, because, that could be at least 2 or 3 episodes. But I would actually like to see, how do they make the decisions? How much decision making would Gene and Paul have? Are we going to see any of that? That kind of thing I think would be really kind of interesting. I hope they don't go super hokey,
right?
With the reality. Even it's funny because in a way, obviously how wrestling and KISS and everything ties together. But remember XFL,
right?
XFL was different, and in that case, it was wrestling that brought more people into the venue because they were all like, well, what will Vince McMahon do? Problem was, once they started playing, it just wasn't good football.
Right.
So people didn't stick around because they realized it was kind of just, it was a little goofy. Something was really off. So I think if they can get good football and then have KISS bring more people into the game, I think it's great.
Yeah, I think that of course, we have no idea how it's going to turn out, but I really have a good feeling about it. I think that there's a hype going on for arena football right now because KISS has a team. I think LA is apparently very excited about it to the point where now the NFL is saying we're going to move a team to LA.
Wow.
And because KISS or, Gene and Paul for that matter, they just they ran their mouths a little too much about talking about the untapped, source of money that is there for LA and football. And then the NFL sat back and saw all the hype and all the publicity and all the talk. And then they went, you know what? We really need to move somebody there. And now I think they're talking about it. And I'm wondering, the one thing about the XFL that didn't work was the fact that it happened right after the Super Bowl, remember?
Right.
Yeah. So, and somebody had always said, the best thing would have been to wait a few months or actually start it, 2 months before the NFL starts because people are itching for football. And, so arena football falls perfectly. So I think at least the first couple of years are going to be a success, and I think it'll be even bigger if their team wins. And I think if their team wins, or it at least gets to the playoffs, that's going to be one of those things where, I can't even imagine what it would be like to see Gene and Paul standing on a podium with a football team hoisting the trophy above their head, saying, look at us. We are the champions of not only gold records, but now we're the champions of the Arena Football League. Now we need a golfer and a baseball team. They would do it, wouldn't they?
It's one of those things. I think that will be. You're right on the money. That will be the determining factor if the team does well. If the team doesn't do well, then it will be looking at like a joke, like, oh, look, the Kiss football team stinks or whatever. But if they win, they'll ride every bit of that.
Oh, my God. They will. Gene Simmons' tweets will come out at 600 miles an hour. He tweets so many times now. Every time I turn around, I'm getting some kind of a notification, and it's LA Kiss, LA Kiss, LA Kiss, and then some kid asks him about God, and then there's But hey, Matt, thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Sure, my pleasure.
Hey, tell everybody again when you already have your next show scheduled.
Well, depending on when you listen to this one, we're live on Friday, February 21st from 3 to 5, but of course we replay them. And if you go to the listen page on thekissroom.com, it's got all the dates. Like I said, it's just once a month. We do it for fun, and gives people plenty of time. There's a lot of hours in the week, and if they want to just take 2 hours out of the month and listen to us, obviously they got you to listen to. There's all kind of cool podcasts that are out there. Obviously, I have a ton of links on my links page on thekissroom.com, and if they want to spend a little time with us, even better. So
yeah, absolutely. And you guys should listen to the show. It's very good, and the conversations are always great, and you learn something and you get good opinions, and I really enjoy the show. Thanks again, man. I really appreciate it, and stay safe. I know that the snow that's leaving us now is on its way to you guys. And
it's snowing now, depending on when you're listening to this, we're ready to start a snowmageddon.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set it all up, and I'm gonna try to put it out tonight. So excellent. Hey, before we go, do you want to tell everybody what your next show is going to be about?
Well, we're going to talk about a bunch of things. I have some, obviously some Kiss friends coming in. And one of the topics we're going to talk about is collecting. What are you going to do with your collection? I have a couple of people coming in that are big collectors that have had big collections, have sold big collections. It's one of those things. I think we're all getting a little older, and you start saying, what should I do with all this stuff? I'm running out of room. And I think Kiss fans, more than just about anybody else, they can all relate to that. Everybody's got a collection of, their Kiss things and what those things mean to them. That's why I call the show the Kiss Room. Everybody can relate to the idea of having a room in their house or an office or something that is their Kiss room where we go and hide. I'm sitting in mine right now while I'm talking to you. So it's it's surrounded by all my Kiss stuff. And I think I thought it was a good name for the show, and I think a lot of people will relate to that topic. So
great. All right. Hey, Matt, thank you very much. And we'll be listening in just a couple of weeks to the new show. And I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it, folks. Matt Porter from the Kiss Room. Make sure you listen to his show. And that's it for the day. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Don't forget to post your comments on our Facebook page. Don't forget to go like our Facebook page so you can be involved in the contest that we're doing for the Kiss straps. Don't forget to leave us a comment on YouTube. Listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, all those Podomatic. We're on everything. Enjoy the other Kiss podcasts, and we will see you next time. Peace.